But that's all it was. Chelsea thoroughly deserving then a place in the 5th round of the FA Cup. They will face Leeds, Aston Villa out. Frank Leboeuf joins us to give us this insight into this tie.
Well, as we got it all wrong, we might as well just go listen to Frank.
How did this happen, Greg?
Well, I don't know.
Because they were really good.
They were really good. Villa were really bad, and I think the combination just made it such an easy night in the end for Chelsea, which was completely unexpected because everything they've done this season pretty much has been hard work. Off the back of losing 4 goals to Wolves at the weekend, at home, the bad defending, the poor attacking play. Villa not been as good recently, but just come off the back of 5-0 against Sheffield United. They've only lost once at home, that was Newcastle. You thought, right, this is Villa going to pick up the baton again, second half of the season, put their foot down. No. They were terrible. Chelsea played some great stuff, and Fernandes in particular in the middle of the park got the run of Villa Park. And, this is a great shot in the arm for Pochettino off the back of some really bad performances.
Yeah, Frank, you've seen a lot of those performances, of course. Today, very much the exception.
Yes, exactly what I thought when I saw it. And I said, wow, so unexpected. And what a great performance. Yes, the Villains didn't play well, but it's maybe due to what Chelsea offered today to their fans. They pace up their game. They try to be more direct, and they stop maybe thinking too much. And that tiki-taka that we got fed up because he brought nothing. They went to something again more direct, and they were very effective at front. The goal from Gallagher, the header from Jackson was perfect, and the beauty at the end, the free kick from Enzo achieved, the perfect evening. I'm not getting crazy because, of course, we need more evidence that they back. It was maybe a very good day for Chelsea and a bad one for Aston Villa. But we need confirmation. But it's a very nice step to better days, that's for sure.
You can only beat the side that's in front of you, really, Stevie, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and even Chelsea, the way they've been playing, no question, could beat a team like Villa. I mean, this is a complete head-scratcher. There's one thing to play a game and to lose it, but there's one thing to play a game and lose it in the manner they did. I mean, this was an FA Cup tie. You've got a packed house, you've got a fan base that can't wait to get behind you, but you give them absolutely nothing. And it was absolutely nothing from the start till the 90th minute. The 90th minute they started when they got the goal. That is a complete head scratcher. I mean, it really is. And you've got to question Unai Emery. We're always saying how great he is with his tactics and everything else. This, to me, was about man management. How could he not get his team up for this game? Because they weren't up for this game. And then you get a chance to get them in at half-time. You get a chance to get them going, and they come out, and there's not an awful lot of change. He didn't make any changes. Question is, do you give them a kick up the backside at half-time, or do you make changes? So we thought, OK, he's kicked them up the backside, he's going to give them a chance. And it just basically, after 5 minutes, went back to what it was in the first half. And what did he do? Nothing. He did nothing to, 70th minute? So, yeah, this was awful and a complete head-scratcher. The fact that in a 4th-round cup tie at home, there's no intensity. Strange.
Apart from the goalkeeper, Petrovic, we did the game live, as you mentioned, and the 30-minute build-up. I have to be honest here. Apart from the keeper, we pretty much went through every Chelsea player like a dose of salt.
Stevie had to go to the goalkeeper as well.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
You said he was a rookie.
I said he was...
I mean, we went through the whole back four.
Yep.
We went through Thiago Silva, who's 39, but not really, there's a different sort of story with him. We went through Caicedo and Fernandez's lack of control in games. Jackson's form,
Two centre-backs.
I suppose Gallagher, Gallagher's been a talking point. He's worked hard. Would he stay? Would he go? He's a grafter. I don't really see this big, if we lose Conor Gallagher. But anyway, we went through the whole lot and said, listen, they've got Palace coming up, they've got City coming up, they've got Tottenham coming up, and then they got Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. What was going to happen if they got a complete pasting in this game? And that's kind of that was the build-up to, like, how are Villa not going to win this? How are Chelsea going to survive a thrashing? And what's Pochettino going to say after the game? It'd have been hard to put up any other argument beforehand. And so for Pochettino, from their perspective, looking at that schedule that I'm talking about coming up, yeah, it's one win, but at least it gives them some confidence and him maybe some time away from, you're under, are they going to sack you, or how are you going to pick the players up for these big games ahead? At least now there is something to cling on to with this performance.
He's getting asked different questions now because of the win.
But the only way it goes forward is if they take this forward.
Yes.
I mean, there's no point in going to Crystal Palace, who are struggling, and Roy Hodgson's sort of teetering, playing poorly and losing, and then it all sort of falls away. So it was a great night for them, the best of the season. I think he said that. Certainly in my eyes, I don't remember them playing better against what you would call one of the top 5 or 6 sides, away from home on the road. But how do you bottle that and say, right, we take this to the next game, we dominate, and then we move on from here? If he can't do that, he's got problems. If he can, he's got half a chance.
And of course, he came under such spotlight because of what happened against Wolves, Frank, and then the Enzo Fernandez story that he wanted out, and then, of course, Thiago Silva, his girlfriend, wife tweeting out and then falling out, suggesting between Silva and Pochettino. What does this tell you about the belief that this squad has of their coach to go and put in that sort of performance with everything kind of crumbling around it?
Well, when everything goes wrong, you have a target, and the biggest target and the easiest one is the coach. And players are starting to criticize the coach, thinking that the tactic is not good, the choices of even the players are not good. And but you have to take care of everything that people are saying in the media. If the Thiago Silva's wife really said that or not, I'm not sure about that. So Thiago Silva has already been on the bench, and not because of his wife's comments. It's just because it was a tactic and because he's 39 and he needs the rest. And I think it was more that. And when he came on, I saw Pochettino, putting his hand on his shoulder, they were talking to each other. I didn't feel a tension between them. What about Enzo Fernandez? I don't believe it. Again, there was all stories behind the scenes, and you don't know what is true or what is fake. And I want to believe what I see on the field. And today, if the players wanted Pochettino to be sacked, they wouldn't have played like that. They would have let the game go, and it would have been out very quickly. They fought, and I think there is a change of spirit. And Pochettino has to learn that from that game. They didn't try to be in control of the game. The Villains had 2 chances at the beginning of the game. It could have been a different scenario. But they took the risk of being a little bit open, I'm talking about Chelsea, to get into counter-attack and to score goals. And when you play away from home against Aston Villa, it's the way you have to do. Don't try to be in control of the game. Don't try to make 800 passes. Just try to score goals. It's what they try to do. And maybe it's a philosophy that they have to learn from and be maybe more used to that, maybe.
I'm sure at 39, Thiago Silva will get over anything somebody said or not said. It's not ideal, but it's one of those. Listen, just sort of stay out of it. It's not an ideal scenario, but I was expecting Disasi and Badia Shield to be given a torrid time by Ollie Watkins. They were not. That was a big surprise. The other thing being is, I think the big winner looking at this game is Tottenham and Ange Postecoglou.
Right, with regards to Villa's form.
With regards to Villa, and there at the moment is Tottenham and probably Villa. Maybe you could throw United as a long shot if they can. But Tottenham and Villa sort of going head for head. Villa looked to me and have a little bit recently, although I didn't expect this result, but they've just looked a little bit more jaded recently. Yeah, they beat Sheffield United 5-0. That was over at half-time when they were 4-0 up. But there was the loss at home to Newcastle. There was the draw at home to Sheffield United. There was the lacklustre away performance in this tie at Stamford Bridge that produced the replay. So there has been a little bit of lacklustre. You get the 0-0 at Everton as well thrown in there. They beat Burnley, they beat They beat Middlesbrough. They lost at Man United, so they haven't been as sharp. And so I think the signs are there, and they didn't really replenish in January. They signed Morgan Rogers from Middlesbrough, so they Frank. I know Chelsea played well tonight, and there's nobody taking anything away from Chelsea because they're having a bad time, and this was a great result. But I honestly felt Aston Villa were extremely, extremely poor tonight, and they did not look like a side that are going to challenge for the top 4 this season.
I agree with you, and they were very poor because, as everybody I think before the game, they would never thought that Chelsea would play that way, and they would never thought that they would react that way. Everybody was thinking that it would be given for the Villains because Chelsea was so poor against Wolves the game before, losing every game. So you say, okay, they're going to come their head down and we're going to finish them. That's what they thought. They thought it would be easy for them. It would be an easy game. And when Gallagher scored, they weren't able to react because they weren't ready for that. You know, we've been players. We know how sometimes we feel that the game's going to be a given one, but if it doesn't go the way we thought, it's impossible to react. And the Villains didn't prepare. It's why I agree with Steve when he talked about man management. They weren't prepared to fight for that game.
What's interesting, Stevie, now, 3 wins in the last 9 matches, 1 in 5, however you want to sell it. You always say it's easy coaching when things are going well.
Yeah.
It's when you're in that blip to try and get them out of it.
Yeah, you've got to figure out the reasons, you know. And Craig's talking about being jaded. That to me so far would be the main reason.
Right.
That's not going
to resolve itself.
Well, that's not good.
Soon.
That's not good because if your legs are tired, then no amount of coaching or tactics are going to make up for that. But on the face of this performance, I would have to agree that looks to be the answer. Because a team that has legs can play a half of football badly and be outplayed and outthought and outfought. But a team with legs can get roasted up at half-time and come out and show that they've got legs and show a bit of fight and desire. But when you don't have the juice in your legs, you get what we saw in the second half. And that was not intensity, it was not fight, it wasn't desire. That would be the worry for me. I think it's very easy to get carried away with how good Chelsea played, but it's only one game. I think more worryingly, if you're Aston Villa, you're worried about how poor you were and for the reasons behind it.
Boubacar Kamara was terrible. Tielemans was ineffective, but those are 2 players that he can, and he has done, he can take them in and out the side.
Yeah.
Right, for injuries or dropping them or resting them. The main concern would be that the driving engine behind Villa this year, for the main part, has been Douglas Luiz and John McGinn. Right, 2 different players for 2 different facets to their skill sets and blah, blah, blah. But they 2 were so far off the game tonight. You know, Douglas Luiz has controlled a lot of games this year. Hardly saw him on the ball, never won a tackle. John McGinn is normally everywhere, winning tackles, busy, getting in the box, getting on the end of stuff, doing a little bit of everything. Got taken off, hardly saw him. That's the worry. These guys have played a lot of football. It's not the biggest squad, but it's one that they have to deal with, and it just looks to me as if he might have to find a different way, and maybe with some different players, to give 1 or 2 of these guys a little rest to go again, because that was very unlike Villa tonight.
And very unlike Chelsea as well, I suppose you could say. Here's Mauricio Pochettino with Alexis after the game.
Mauricio, congratulations. What a difference a couple of days make from the last 2 games in the league to this performance. Did it surprise you even a little bit?
No, not surprised. I think it was similar to Liverpool, but we didn't score because the referee didn't concede the penalty. And then the game changed. And today I think we start well and we score. When we score, the team started to play really well and was very comfortable on the pitch. Yeah, so pleased because, yes, the feelings always are different when you win.
And then, of course, after the last 2 results, like I said, you know, you see the frustrations with the players. You've had to say that it's important to stay together. What have, I suppose, your talks been like with them to result in what we saw today?
No, I think we were talking a lot. Only a few days to talk. Yes, it was nice to be all together. I see the feeling. I see the energy from the player that they wanted to, to bounce back and to change, all this energy that wasn't great after Wolverhampton, and that is why I am so grateful and so happy, because I think they did a very good job.
And then now the important thing, of course, is to build that consistency so that we see this more often. Did you see anything today that could suggest that you can build on this? Is this exactly where you want to be, how you want Chelsea to play?
Of course, I've seen too many good things. I seen to play again a team and dominate and didn't concede too many. Only in the last 10 minutes we conceded a few chances, but I think we didn't control the game and make us very pleased, because I think it's in the way that we want to play, it's in the way that we need to play, and of course now the challenge is to be consistent.
Mauricio, muchas gracias. Felicidades.
Muchas gracias.
What Liverpool game was he watching? Is it the one where Liverpool had 28 efforts on goal?
But overall, it makes things a lot easier going into that Palace game now, doesn't it? Than if they'd lost this match. But it's about making it getting this momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is easier said than done.
Yes.
Off the back of one result. If you remember Liverpool last year when they were having their struggles, we kept saying, remember they beat Man City and we were at home and we were like, right, that's it. That's their season going to kick on. It happened like several times. You're going, right, it's going to kick on now. But it never did. So it's not that easy to just keep, if you're not in that winning run mentality. But look, it's certainly 100 times better to go into this game on Monday at Palace, away from home at Selhurst, with this performance in the bank, rather than another dreadful one.
Can I just say that if there's one person who's not going to be carried away with this, it's going to be Pochettino.
Right, OK.
Listen, because if you watch this game, if you saw his face after they took the lead, he wasn't doing an Arteta, he wasn't punching in the air. You could see in his face, he's like, OK, this is good, but there's a long, long way to go here.
Sure.
So if there's one man who's not going to be carried away, it's going to be Pochettino. He knows the problems he's got, and he knows that one game doesn't clear the whole thing out the road.